4, 3, 2, 1. Love Talk Radio. Women have the power to transform this world. We can end crime and violence if we all agree to do one thing. Share. Let's share our wisdom, share our time, share our talent, share our finances. But most of all, let's share our love. This is the Female Solution. Join me, Naima Latif, every morning, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Central Standard Time, as we bring you stimulating discussions about the issues affecting our lives. If you're listening online at www.blogtalkradio.com/the-female-solution, press the blue button that says follow and get our daily topics every morning directly to your email and your smartphone. Hi, I'm Naima Latif, executive producer of the Female Solution radio show. We invite you to call in 515-605-9325 and participate in this daily think tank as we examine the challenges we face and develop solutions that restore peace and harmony. We are global transformers, changing the world from the way it is to the way it should be. We are one. Wherever we live on this earth, we are one human family. On behalf of our team of radio hosts, I'd like to extend a greeting to all the members of our family, whenever and wherever you may be listening around the world. To our family in China, ni hao. In India, namaste. In Japan, konnichiwa. In Korea, annyeonghaseyo. In Russia, zdravstvuyte. In Germany, guten Tag. In Poland, dzień dobry. In France, bonjour. In Spain, hola. In Italy, ciao. In Egypt, asin wasabi. In Ghana, akwaba. In Nigeria, peneo. In South Africa, salbona. In Senegal, nangadek. In Kenya, jambo. In Israel, shalom. In Pakistan, Afghanistan, and Saudi Arabia, assalamu alaikum. Greetings, and may peace be upon you all. Is Monday morning a struggle to get out of bed, into the swing of things? Well, don't worry, you are not alone. Join us for thought-provoking, stimulating, and mindful conversations on higher learning with ZeldaSpeaks for your Monday morning mindfulness session on Blog Talk Radio, the Female Solution. Mondays, 7:30 until 9 a.m. Be sure and send your ideas, thoughts, comments, and suggestions. Also, if you'd like to be a guest on the show, visit ZeldaSpeaks.com and send us your info. We'd love to have you. Experience mindfulness moments with the mindfulness/stress relief coach, Zelda Speaks. And thanks for sharing the mindfulness moments with us today. Stay on purpose, stay empowered. Stay tuned to your next session of mindfulness on higher learning with Zelda Speaks. Make it a mindful day. And thanks for listening.
Grand Rising, and thank you so much for joining us this morning. Welcome to Monday Morning Mindfulness. I'm your host, Zelda Speaks, and I welcome you this morning. And happy birthday, born day, if you're celebrating a birthday today. And as always, it is always in our intentions to keep those in prayer who are in need of prayer. So many people are hurting at this time in their lives, and not a joyful experience right about now. So we always give a few minutes or a few seconds of quiet for those in pain. And there are many people in pain. A special shout out to Mama AZ in Arizona. And if you're listening, just know that our prayers are with you as you go through your vessel experience. And also to our other sister of the microphone, Minister Cynthia Marie Williams, who is now out of the center where she was being held hostage and back home. So we know that the power of prayer does work. So do not give up. In all your praying, continue to push. PUSH, pray until something happens. And then still keep praying. How about that? It is Monday, June 14th. We're in June already. Can you believe it? It'll be July and August and then back to school and then Thanksgiving and Christmas. Yeah, so enjoy this hot weather today while you can because it doesn't last long in Chicago. And coming up this weekend is Juneteenth, as well as Happy Father's Day, which we celebrated. I celebrated on my show last last Monday. But today we'll be talking about my body, my choice. And my sisters of the microphone will be joining me in the 7:30 hour. And speaking of sisters of the microphone, our former host and producer of the communicated newspaper, Wanda Carter, her grandson will be laid to rest today. His name is Joshua Jarrell Morris. At 3 p.m. is the wake, 4 p.m. is the funeral, and it's all taking place at the Miracle Revival Center, 2010 St. Charles Road in Maywood, Illinois. So condolences to the family of Wanda Carter, our sister of the microphone. Know that your sisters are here with you in prayer. On the news item, you have got to go to my blog, ZeldaSpeaks.wordpress.com, and see all of the information that I have posted there. And thank you for sharing information so that I can share with our viewers and listeners. There is a Black-owned podcast network, newly designed app. So we have got to go check that out. All that's on my blog, ZeldaSpeaks.wordpress.com. Also, the Black Prison Reform Project to help thousands of innocent Black men in prison. So you might want to check that out. And there's another guy, another Nelson Mandela, another brother being held for 26, 27 years for no reason at all, just because of the color of his skin. So we need to get involved in those projects. Just by a click, you're already online anyway, so you may as well click on the links that's on there that's going to help someone, help a family. When you help the family, you help the village, because we are a community, whether we recognize it, believe it, or participate in it. We are a family, and it's time that we start acting like it. Don't you think? Yeah. So go there and click on those links and support those causes. Just with a click. That's all you got to do. Share the information. Each one teach one. And if you're watching us online, we thank you for joining us on the Higher Learning TV show, which airs on our YouTube channel Tuesdays at 6, Wednesdays at 1 on channel 19. And we're also on Facebook, HLN TV show, and on my page as well, Zelda Speaks. And we're on Instagram, Zelda Speaks, the number 2 and the letter U. And remember the Pixely website, pixely.com, Pixeoly. It is the new social media site from the Women's Media Group. And if you are familiar with my healing, I'm always in the process of healing. If you live long enough, you'll be in the process too. So be sure to check out my site, zelda.now.site. And also, if you're interested in eating wholesome foods, you can grow your own. Go to zeldarobinson.towergarden.com. And be sure and head on over to diabeticdonut.com, because that's where I share my morning drink with you. Apple beet, cucumber, lemon, ginger, kale. Ugh, but it reverses type 2 diabetes. If I did it, you can do it. Anybody can do it. Okay. Oh, Lord have mercy. We'll talk about it tomorrow on Jodi's show. But you got to go see my blog on my healing process with sugar. I have been having a BOD treatment. And if you go to my blog, you'll see what a BOD is. And it will explain to you exactly what it is, because many of you who know me know I have had a sugar addiction all my life. Until now, I have been using the BOD, B-A-U-D, the B bioacoustical utilization device, BAUD. And I haven't had sugar, and I am not fainting, and I am loving it. So check out the blog. You'll be glad you did. Anyway, it's time to take a look at weather, which is sponsored by Karen Kelly of itex.com. For those who are interested in not spending money for equipment or supplies, if you're a business or an entrepreneur, head on over to itex.com. Also, you can travel in any of the 52 continental states. They have timeshares, hotels, and good bargains. And plus, you get a $100 bonus when you sign up if you use my name, Zelda. Much thanks to, the ancestors, Richard McGee, Kent Kugent, all those who have gone before us, Yvonne Daniels. Oh, yes, there's so many. So, as we take a look at public transportation, Metra and CTA, there are no delays reported inbound on the Kennedy. That's another show. We're looking at 42 minutes inbound due to delays at Costner Avenue, 23 on the outbound. On the Edens inbound, 28 minutes inbound and 20 minutes on the reverse. On the Eisenhower, it is bumper to bumper, 50 minutes inbound and 29 minutes on the reverse. On the Stevenson inbound, it's a little shorter ride, 30 minutes in, 18 out. On the Dan Ryan, there's a crash before 63rd Street, and the lanes are backed up to the Bishop Ford and rounding out to where the Stony Island Avenue to the circle is. There's delays there. So right now on the Ryan inbound, it's 14 in and 11 on the reverse. On the Bishop Ford, a little back up there too, 19 in and 19 out. Lakeshore Drive, 12 in both directions. Have you noticed that gas prices are going up? It is crazy. I don't care where you go, unless you go to Indiana, gas is high. Okay, 370 is the average in Chicago. That's what they say. I see 389, 399 at the pump. I see everything. So I don't know where you all looking at, but gas is high. Anyway, traffic and weather sponsored by Karen Kelly of itex.com, and their motto is pay attention or pay cash. I rather pay attention, so I signed up with itex for the Higher Learning Network, of course, which teaches youth behind the scenes radio, television, and print production. And while we have been on hiatus, we have pivoted, as they would say, and we're now online. And every Saturday, my days are all discombobulated. I sat in the sun too long tomorrow. Yes, all day yesterday. What did I say? Tuesdays at 6, Wednesdays at 1 on Channel 19. And our YouTube channel, Higher Learning TV Show. So every fourth Saturday, 12 noon until 1 p.m., we have celebrity judges on it. And you can send in your 1-minute video. This is for youth ages 13 through 19, even though we have had some that are 11 and 12. We took them anyway. We support them. We didn't want to discourage them, so we accepted. Anyway, send a 1-minute video of your talent to HLN TV show. Send a 1-minute video link via YouTube. You gotta send it through YouTube, and that way we can play it. And if you want to send a separate video, like 10 or 15 seconds of just saying who you are and what you do, and we'll add you to the group, and you can become a contestant on the Global Virtual Teen Talent Contest. As a matter of fact, that should be running right about now. Can you see that below? There you go. Global Teen Talent Contest, round 7, June 26th, 12 until 1 p.m. on our YouTube channel, Higher Learning TV Show. But right now, it is time that we have our Monday morning mindfulness word of the day. And today is from June 14th. I'm reading for Inspirational Conversations, 365 Days of Empowerment with Shalom. It says, hip-hop has a new face. It's the face of a young man who's brought something new and exciting to the arena and is opening doors and minds of our youth for more possibilities. Lee England Jr. is his name, aka the soul violinist. He was trained in classical music and is showing us how it's done new school with old school. He's played halftime at basketball games all over the country with the endorsement of basketball icon and businessman Michael Jordan. How cool is that? You probably never even thought of combining hip hop with classical, but Lee shows us that it can be done. He's a great example of the unlimited possibilities when you nurture the seed that's been planted in your soul. So I guess you could call him a soulinist. A soulinist. You ever heard such a thing? Because that's just how creative we are. We just come up with stuff. A soulinist. You get it? Combination of a soul violinist, soulinist. Yeah, I know I'm quirky, whatever. Inspirational Conversations with Shalom is Israel. All funds received available at higherlearningnetwork.org. All funds received, proceeds benefit the Higher Learning Network TV show Youth Global Virtual Teen Talent Contest. Okay? Oh, and by the way, tax deductible too. It's 7:15. You know what that means? Yep. It is time for our Monday morning mindfulness meditation. So it's time for you to sit up straight, or if you're lying down, it's okay too. I've done that too. You might fall asleep, but it's a good thing. As long as you wake back up to enjoy the show. Sit up straight in your chair, feet flat on the floor. Let's just take a long, stretch this morning. Oh, yes. Stretch. Turn that body, that upper half of that body. Turn it. Yeah. Then let's turn the other side of the body. Turn to the left. Ooh, stretch, feel that stretch. Ooh, don't that feel good? Yes, it does. Ah. Stretching. You seen a cat stretch in the morning? Oh, they take a long stretch. It seems like they stretch forever. So you be sure and do the same thing. Wakes the body up. A friend of mine who's a yoga instructor told me that, oh, excuse me. Ooh. When you wake up in the morning, do like the cat do. Pretend you're a cat, take a long, deep stretch. And to hold your feet up in the air for 5 minutes. Put them on the wall and let the blood circulate back down. I don't usually keep them up there 5 minutes, but I do keep them up there some. It helps with the circulation. When you get a little older, you'll understand these things. So, keep the circulation moving. We're going to sit up straight in our chair, feet flat on the floor, nothing in our hands, nothing in our laps, and nothing on our mind but the power of our breath. As we breathe in through the nose, hold it, and take even longer to breathe out. Stretch that breath out. Inhale deeply. Hold it. And take a long, deep exhale through the nose. Inhale deeply. Hold it. And exhale. Oh, you feel that in your shoulders already? If you don't feel it in your shoulders, chances are you're not inhaling deep enough. You should feel it in your whole body when you breathe. So inhale deeply. Feel your chest expand. And as you exhale, feel your chest deflate. Push it out. And as your eyes are closed, you should not be looking at me, but the inside of your eyelids. As you inhale deeply. Hold it. And exhaling through the nose, giving thanks for the power of the breath. As we continue to inhale and exhale, giving thanks because we are not one of those people this morning who needs assisted breathing. An inhaler, a trachea tube in your throat, sinusitis, headaches, just all kinds of aches and pains, and just can't breathe through your nose this morning. So give thanks that you are not one of those people. As you inhale deeply, hold it, and exhale through the nose. As you are sending love and light, healing energy to each and every organ in your body through the power of your breath. That's why you simply inhale deeply, bringing the power of the breath to the top of the head. And as you exhale, moving the power of the breath down through the face, the forehead, the chin, and the shoulders. Yes, as we inhale deeply, Bringing the power of the breath down through the shoulders and the arms and the elbows and the wrist. Feel free to move them around and around and around in a circular motion as you inhale deeply. And as you exhale, sending the power of the breath down through the sides and the solar plexus, the stomach, and the back. As we inhale. And as we exhale, sending more love and light and energy down through the hips and the thighs and the knees and the legs. Keep breathing, inhaling and exhaling. Inhale deeply. Sending more love and light and energy through the breath down through the ankles, the arches, instep. Feel free to wiggle those toes, giving thanks for the power of the breath that moves the energy through your toes, back up through your feet and your legs and your knees. As we inhale deeply, bringing that energy back up through the thighs and the hips and the buttock and the back. Oh, we give thanks that we can breathe on our own, directing the energy of our body and our back up through the back of the shoulders as we inhale and exhale. Inhale deeply. Take these fingers and rub the back of your shoulders. Your shoulders will greatly appreciate it. As you inhale deeply, sending love and light and more energy through the shoulders, massaging those shoulders. This is where we keep all of our tension. Rest in knowing that your breath is the keeper and the controller of your body. As you inhale deeply and exhale. Once more, inhale deeply and exhale. Take these 3 fingers and press on the back of your neck. Squeeze the back of your neck, that vagus nerve, as you inhale deeply and exhale, giving thanks for the power of those 2 fingers, sending love and light and energy as you are squeezing the back of the neck, that vagus nerve, squeezing it with those fingers, giving thanks for the electrical energy that runs from the base of your neck down through your spine. And the same energy is that of a tree. So when you sit near a tree, be sure and rub the back of that neck, giving thanks for the connection for you and Mother Earth, because all of the energy that you need is connected to the electricity of the universe, because you and I are electrical beings. Feel free to rub the back of that neck, the back of those shoulders, and just sending it love and light and lots of energy as we inhale deeply. And exhale. Doesn't that feel good? Especially after you rub that neck and the vagus nerve. Inhale deeply. This time as you exhale, bring the forehead forward, chin to chest. Bring that head down and slowly rotate the head to the right. That's why you're sitting up straight. Rotating that head all the way to the back. Slow down. You're moving too fast. And slowly rotating that head to the right. You might feel a little pop. That's okay. That's just air in between the muscles and the fibers and the tension. Bringing the head back around to the front. Head up. Inhale deeply. Hold it. And as you exhale, bring the head back down. Face forward, chin to chest, and slowly rotate the head to the right. Slowly. Slowly. Feel that stretch. Slowly. You should just be getting to the back. Slow down. You're moving too fast. Slow down. Yes. Oh, feeling every increment of the stretch of that neck. Yes. Slowly bringing it around to the front. Head up. And exhale. Does that feel good? Once more. Inhale deeply. As you exhale, look to the left as far as you possibly can, feeling a stretch on the right side of the neck. Bringing the head back forward. Inhale once more. Through the nose and looking to the right as far as you possibly can. Feeling the stretch in the left side of the neck. Oh, yes, that feels good. And head back straight. How's that feel? Close your eyes once more and inhale and take a long, deep inhale. Let's do it together. Inhale deeply. And exhale. Once more. Inhale deeply. Giving thanks for the power of the breath as you are sending love and light and healing energy. Not just energy, but healing energy to your brain, the one that governs us all. I'm so excited to tell you about the board. I'm just excited. That's all I can say. We'll talk about it later. Inhale deeply. Giving thanks for the power of the heart as it beats miraculously without our even thinking about it. It just continues to do the work. Even though we overloaded with chemicals and drugs and negative thoughts, the heart just keeps on beating, giving us another chance for another day. As we inhale deeply, using our minds and the power of our minds to see our heart, to touch your heart, sending it love and light and healing energy. No matter what goes on during the course of the day, we protect the heart with positive thoughts. And anytime we are invited to be engaged in negative conversation, we protect our hearts by not engaging in negative conversation. We protect our heart by breathing in and breathing out positive communication. No negative communication. We've got to find something good in it somewhere because we have to protect the one muscle that will work when nothing else works. So we give thanks for the power of the heart and we protect it with positive energy and positive conversation. As we inhale deeply and as we exhale, we give thanks for the liver and the lungs. We cannot do anything without either of them. The spleen, spine, pancreas, and all the nerves and the tissues and the fibers and the trillions of cells that are operating as we speak, effortlessly as we breathe in. We give thanks for all the systems in the body, the neurosystems, the microsystems, the macro systems, all the systems that are working on our behalf, especially those of the digestion, the assimilation, and the elimination system. A lot of y'all constipated and too cute to talk about it. Better go get you some Nopalina. Or go to my blog, ZeldaSpeaks.wordpress.com. There's always information there on constipation. Inhale deeply. And exhale. Once more. Inhale deeply. And exhale. One more time. Inhale deeply. And exhale. Now, how did that feel? I know it felt good because as I'm breathing and sharing with you, I'm feeling good. So I know that you're feeling it too. So thank you so very much for being a part of that experience this morning. And be sure and share Monday mindfulness meditation with someone you know, because we can all use a little stress relief. You know why? Because this is a high stress period in our lives. We've allowed those who control the media to control us. And as a result of that, we're full of stress and tension and anxiety. And that is something that you can practice on your own. You don't need any help. And it doesn't take 5 minutes. It can be 5 seconds. You simply breathe in and breathe out. But when you breathe out through your mouth. Because if you got a little funk on your breath, you forgot to brush your teeth, or a little onion or a garlic, I promise you they will back up. Okay? So go check out my blog, ZeldaSpeaks.wordpress.com. I know I speak too fast. ZeldaSpeaks.wordpress.com. Okay? And if you want to call in this morning, 515-605-9325, press 1 to speak. And my sister of the microphone, Naima, says, Grand Rising, beautiful queen teacher. You look marvelous. Thank you, my sister. And they will all be joining me this morning. And there's another comment here. This information on the board. Wonderful, 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 wonderful. And also, if you can't copy that down, you can also go to ZeldaSpeaks.wordpress. The board is on there. All you got to do is scroll down. But right about now, it is 7:30, and we are going to be joined by my sisters of the microphone, and we will be discussing my body, my choice. So you stay close, and we'll be back, and we're going to talk about your body, your choice, right here on the Female Solution.
Hi, I'm Dr. CJ of Bologna Health, where we combine orthopedic manual therapy and neuroscience to treat the whole person. Health tip for the day is keep it moving. Doesn't matter how, just keep it moving doing something you enjoy. Walking, dancing, rolling on the floor with your dogs or kids, really anything. The body craves movement to keep its bones, joints, and muscles happy. Even our mental health and internal organs and digestive system rely on our movement. Thanks for being a part of the Higher Learning Network, the Female Solution.
Everything you need, what your body needs, is found in nature. So Suson Essentials doesn't do it any other way. Suson Essentials provides your employees and individuals access to over 20,000 nutritional products, and they are shipped direct to your door. Because Suson Essentials is certified in plant-based healing, we're permitted to offer you the best nutritional supplements on the planet. They're non-GMO and sustainably produced, and we take the guesswork out for you. Let Suson Essentials help you take control of your health today. You are tuned in to the Soulful Chicago Book Fair 2020 Vision Fundraising Campaign. That's right. You can support the vision of reviving Black literary excellence in this city by simply taking your $20 or more and donating it on our website. Visit www.soulfulchicagobookfair.com and click the Donate tab on our homepage, or give us a call at 646-359-6605. And we welcome you, helping us bring literary life into the South Side of Chicago. We all say we would like to be wealthy, but wealth isn't determined by how much money you have. Wealth is determined by your power to define what money is. The history defines money as something used as a way to pay for goods and services and to pay people for their work. So how would you like to have access to an unlimited source of money? Money that is not taxed by the government. Money that increases as you share the opportunity with others. Money that you can use to pay for goods and services and pay people for their work. I'm talking about Bitcoin. It's the future of independent wealth building. Bitcoin is the new money that you control. Get started building your wealth. Call 312-849-3456. That's 312-849-3456. Are you constantly arguing with your spouse? Are your children misbehaving and acting out? Someone in your family addicted to drugs? Have you been a victim of domestic violence? Are you grieving over the loss of your loved one? Let us help you restore serenity to your life. At Serenity Family Social Services, we understand that good mental health is a result of emotional well-being. Our goal is to assist you and your family in removing emotional distress and restoring harmony and balance to your lives. We offer individual, couples, and family counseling. I'm Howard Williams, CEO of Serenity Family Social Services. Call today at 312-315-4820. That's 312-315-4820.
Grand Rising, and thank you for joining us back here on the Female Solution. We are joined by my sisters of the microphone. That would be Jodi Suson next to me. Oops, that way. And
good morning.
Good morning. And my other sister of the microphone, my sister from another Mr. Vieta from Florida. Welcome, my sisters.
Can you hear me?
Well, good morning, beauties.
Yes, hear you loud and clear.
I am frozen, I think. Can you hear me?
No,
we hear you perfect.
We hear you.
Here we are.
We hear you
perfect
and clear. So the topic today, we have for our listeners, they don't know, we have a weekly meeting on Sundays before the show, and we're always talking about current events, things are coming up. And Jodi,
I got a little pissy, right?
Got a lot of excitement. I was like, well, we need to continue this conversation on Monday Morning Mindfulness. The world needs to know about this. We just can't keep this to ourselves.
Right? Yeah.
So here comes the topic, ladies and gentlemen, and I know you will agree with it too. My body, my choice. Your right to your body, because your rights are being taken away and you don't even know it. You don't have a clue. So now that you know, what are you going to do about it? So full speed ahead, Jodi, take it away.
So, it's interesting, and I'm going to bring up something that we didn't talk about. It was only 1 week ago. There was a post on Facebook about a young lady who just graduated at the top of her class and was giving her class speech. And it was in Texas. And I guess days before the valedictorian graduated, the rules in Texas changed relative to whether or not she could have an abortion. And that's, Roe versus Wade, her right to her body. Whether I agree with abortion or don't agree with abortion is not the issue, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she changed her speech to the fact that she was now losing rights to her body. And I was in an upset about it a week ago. So then let's fast forward to 3 or 4 days ago. And what I'm going to do so that we stay on topic, as I'm going to read to you from the EEOC, and I want you to understand that these are small little bites, small little moments where they erode away the rights of people, right? So let me be intentional about this, and I'm going to go to the EEOCs. So for those who don't know what the EEOC is, the EEOC is a U.S. Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, and they're responsible for enforcing federal laws that make it illegal to discriminate against a job applicant or an employee because of a person's race, their color, their religion, their sex, including pregnancy, transgender status, sexual orientation, national origin, age, 40 or older, disability, or genetic information. So, with that being said, there was an update that came from this law firm in Dallas, and they're in Dallas and Houston. And it said the EEOC recently updated its guidance related to the intersection of employment discrimination laws and COVID-19 vaccinations. Now, before I go on, I'm not taking a stance today. I have my opinions. I'm not taking a stance today whether I believe or don't believe in the vaccine, although I think most people know that I think the immune system is pretty phenomenal and it does really well on plants. But that's not what we're discussing today. What we're discussing today is your rights. So what it says is, in addition to further defining the scope of lawful vaccination incentives, the update clarifies that, subject to certain caveats, employers, everybody ready for this, can mandate COVID-19 vaccines for employees, and two, HIPAA violation coming, ask employees to disclose their vaccination status. The update provides employers with a helpful context for assessing workplace policies related to COVID-19, and at the same time, it calls for continued consideration of the impact of COVID-19 vaccinations on workplace safety and compliance. Now, I also want to mention one other thing so that we can get the party started. It didn't even occur to me until last night, I think, or maybe the day before. For decades, we've been requiring kids to get vaccinated, and they have to show their card, right? They have to submit to the school that they got vaccinated before they can come to school. And so their rights have been violated for decades, at least as long as I've been alive, and I'm 58. So if we take those pieces together, I think now we have enough to talk about for the next couple of hours. What do you think?
I know we have enough to talk about, and I also know that we have someone joining us, a regular on your show, Jodi, and we welcome him to the party.
Oh, thank you, Jesus. I was so excited that you got that message, Raj. How you doing, lovey?
Fantastic. How about you guys?
Really, really good. I'm so excited that you're here.
Yeah, thank you.
Did you hear the first part of the 3 or 4 points that were made, or?
I may have missed some of the points, but you were talking about essentially your body, your choice, right?
Yes. And basically we're citing a couple things. One, the EEOC, and I'll just kind of, they updated their guidance related to the intersection of employment discrimination laws and COVID-19. Basically, they can mandate the COVID-19 vaccine for employees and ask employees to disclose their status, which is a HIPAA violation. That's like me walking up to some woman and saying, "Did you have your Pap smear?" I mean,
the other question is, how can they do that if it hasn't been approved by the FDA yet?
Mm-hmm.
Really good point. Really good point. Right. So, I've given all I've talked about the EEOC. I've talked about the fact that we've been requiring kids to get vaccinated just so they can go to school for years, which is why a lot of mothers and fathers have decided to homeschool for a long time. But so go ahead. Who wants to start first about the rights and what you think? I mean, Raj, do you want to start? I mean, you want to lead the way in this? I know you've got lots of thoughts on this.
Oh my Lord, yeah. Well, it's a hot topic. I don't, it's ironic, that they use arguments for certain things, but not for other things. That kind of like, and I don't want to be controversial here, but let's take abortions. Abortions are, my body, my rights, my body, my body, my choice. Well, why shouldn't that also apply? If you're gonna be okay with that, why shouldn't you also apply that logic and thinking to a vaccine?
Well, so exactly, and so that was the other part that I brought up, and I'll see if I can pull up the video. But this young woman, so those rights just got changed in Texas last week. And the valedictorian of this high school graduating class, she was supposed to speak about something else. A speech got approved, and then she spoke about the fact that she just lost all her rights as a female.
Right.
So,
yeah, no, I mean, it really is staggering that they would actually try to mandate this. Essentially, they're coercing people to take it, even though it's officially not a law. It's like, okay, well, if you don't take it, you're going to be impacted in that you might not have a way to earn an income, you know. So that is almost like it's a law. I mean, in that you're coercing people to do it. And
which under duress, that means that you're doing something under duress.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
Correct. And yeah, it should not be allowed. I mean, you know, it's one thing to, hey, you got to take this training or whatever, but I mean, you're literally injecting stuff into your body and you don't even know what it is. And they don't really even know what it is. I mean, you ask any of those people that are injecting people, have you read what's in here, or have you read the warnings and the disclaimer? And they'll tell you flat out, nope. And so it really is quite it's bizarre world in my opinion.
Especially the disclaimer. Why do you have 2, 3, 4 pieces of paper that I have to sign?
Sure.
Why do I have to sign anything if this is legit and if it's going to help me? If this is like going to the doctor. Do I have to sign anything when I go to the doctor besides the insurance papers? So why do I have to sign? I see your head shaking, Viata. Go ahead.
As we talked about last night on Soul Purpose Healing, this is a game being played. And if you don't know how to play the game, if you're not aware, then you're going to submit to the medical mafia and big pharma. So here's what I see happening. First of all, thank you, Jodi, for mentioning about children's, quote, vaccines. Because when I talk to people and look at the comments on social media, vaccines have always been safe. We gave them to our children. So why would we question another vaccine? That's the mind game that's being played on millions of adults right now. We're giving you a vaccine. Now, we know it's not a vaccine at all. It's an experimental messenger RNA. If you've been doing your homework, nobody's doing it. Just as he says.
It's not even that. It's actually a weapon of mass destruction.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we can name it. I'm saying it's a game.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a game. I'm totally with you.
It's
a
game. Totally but we can name it what it's a game. And if you want to play the game, go ahead. Now, here's the thing I was thinking about this morning. I grew up in a Christian family. I don't know, most of us had Christian influence. And we had this saying, WWJD, what would Jesus do? And that turned into WWYD, what would Yeshua do? As we grew and as we changed, we said, okay, what would Yeshua do? You have now in the Christian community, everybody, or a large majority of Christians think Yeshua or Jesus would take an injection. Why? Because they're leaders. The pastors are saying it's okay to take a vaccine. The game is like a vaccine is safe. So we're going to keep promoting vaccine. The media, scientists, government is not talking about an experimental injection. But if we did our homework, we know it's an experimental injection. No, and just as nobody's doing that. I was at a birthday party yesterday, and most of the people there have been injected. And there was another scripture I thought about. As for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. And my phrase is, as for me and my house, we will serve Yahuwah. Well, as for me, my whole house has been injected in terms of close relatives. They're not serving. What they're serving is the medical mafia, the big pharma, they're doctors. And so now what we're looking at is my body, my choice. If you don't think of this as a temple of the Most High, then you're going to let my body do whatever it wants, take an injection, take sugar, take all the foods that are going to weaken the immune system. You get the virus. Oh, and a lot of people last year got sick with a virus or the flu. We would say more likely it was the flu. It was another virus, the flu. And so now they're scared to death because the media and the game now is pressure on everybody to be in fear again. They're coming out with the Delta variant is now out there. You better be afraid because it's worse than the coronavirus. And then there's more fear about the flu season's going to be worse this year because we never saw the flu last year. It's like, yeah, we did see it. They called it a COVID-19. So this is the game. And those of us here, I don't think are playing that game.
No, we're not. We're not playing that game at all.
We don't want to play the game of trusting. The Yeshua means Yah saves. That means the Creator saves. Yeshua, Jesus, is not our Savior. And that's what I'm seeing in the community, the Christian community, is the salvation is coming from a needle put in your arm. So we're the light here. And all I can do is take care of this temple. This is the temple of the Most High Yahuwah, creator of the universe. That's what keeps me sane and saying, no, I don't need an injection from your medical mafia that's killing. Over 4,000 people have died. And that judge in Houston says, well, we can't give you a pass because nobody has really died from this, like the Nuremberg trials and all that information this judge put out there lying, say, well, nobody has died, blah, blah, blah. Well, the CDC reported over 4,000 people have died from this injection. Yep. We got a federal judge saying, well, we can't do anything for you, all you medical workers in Houston, because nobody has died. And I'm like, okay, they need to appeal that one. And so we're just watching this game play out. And our job, as I see it, is to just keep shining our light and keep promoting this temple as a sacred place. You don't put injections in a sacred temple. If we read the Bible about the temple, what did they do in the temple? They did not allow certain people in the area of the temple. So we've got to change our language now if we want to help people come out of this mind that you need a savior and an injection. And this is now the temple. I dress as the temple. I behave as a sacred place now. And I only put certain things in the temple that will strengthen the temple. So that's my belief and perspective. We got to know how to play this game that they're running on everybody. And ignorant, the word ignorant keeps coming up because they're ignoring the wisdom of the ant. Most people, like he said, are not even reading the labels. Yes. They don't know. They don't even know what's in this stuff. They're just trusting the vaccine.
Well, actually, I'm going to say two things about that. Number one, the Bible. In Corinthians 6:19-20 ESV, he asks, or do you not know that your body is a temple of the Holy Spirit within you, whom you have from God? You are not your own, for you were bought with a price. So glorify God in your body. So people, and I have all these links and messages in our private chat, Zelda, for you to use if you want to. Okay. So that's number one. If you're a Christian, go with that. I mean, I'm not telling you to be one, but I'm saying if you are one, go with that. Okay. Just saying. Secondly, I'm just so
I would think Minister Farrakhan is preaching that. He's one of the few leaders that's actually telling the truth about the body and resisting this game. He's one of the few. I don't know too many religious leaders who haven't fallen in for the money. The money for one.
Our church has not fallen. Matter of fact, our church actually sued the governor. But anyway, an NBC Chicago reported about Anthony Rizzo, who's a Cubs player. Do you guys want to hear about this?
Sure.
Okay, it says on Friday, Anthony Rizzo, the highest profile player in the Major League Baseball, acknowledges publicly that he has chosen not to get the COVID-19 vaccine. He says, it's not an easy decision to make, but I think it's the right decision for me and my family right now, said Rizzo, who mentioned taking some more time to see the data, right, on vaccines that were FDA approved for emergency use after shorter than usual trials, which the FDA, I don't believe, even approved it. So I just want to clarify, I'm not necessarily agreeing with that statement. He said he tried to keep his choice private until being asked about it Friday morning on ESPN 1000's Cap Jay Hood show. He said his role as a team leader and so-called face of the franchise for the last several years made the decision especially tough. He said, big time, he said, I love my teammates. I love this franchise, and I do everything I can to win here. But with this stuff, this is bigger than baseball. This is a life decision. This isn't a career decision right now. So,
Yeah,
I mean, maybe you can post that in the comments, Zelda. It's
that man's been doing his research. That man's been doing his research because it is a lifetime decision consequence. Yeah.
Yeah, the information is out
people
there.
Walking around saying, "Well, I feel fine. I got it 2 or 3 weeks ago. I feel fine. I feel fine." Yeah. Okay. We'll see how long you feel fine. That's how all vaccines have side effects. I'm amazed at how many people don't admit that vaccines have side effects. There are thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of mothers who have watched their babies either die or suffer from the side effects of these injections as children. And people are just
triplets.
It's called SIDS, by the way. They often with SIDS, but it's really kids that are taking the jab or getting these vaccines. But yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And I'm going to make a statement about this particular, well, really about all vaccines, but this vaccine in particular. It gives total and complete immunity. But it's not the immunity that you're thinking. If you read the definition of immunity, there are two versions of it. There's the medical version and there's the legal version. And what it gives is total and complete immunity to the corporations, legal immunity from any kind of recourse. And the 4,000 people that you mentioned that have died, I will tell you it is a lot more, it's a lot higher than that. And according to the VERS, right, which is the vaccine injury database, okay, less than 1% of vaccine injuries are reported. And most people, a lot of them don't make that connection because in many cases, it's they get a vaccine, a couple days later, heart attack, whatever, boom, they're done. And it's a heart attack. They don't make the connection. Or the family members are so distraught, they don't know how or don't think to report that as a vaccine injury. So it's way more. So whatever it is, X that by 100%. 100 times, not even 100%.
400,000. Let's just say 400,000 have died. And you know what they say? Well, that's not as many as who died from COVID virus. It's like, what difference does it make? They're dead. And the other thing, brother, is that when they had the other vaccines for the swine flu, I think, they had a much smaller number of people die, and they took the vaccine off the market.
Yeah.
Okay,
why now? Why now are we not taking it off with all these numbers?
Right. What's the agenda? So there clearly is an agenda. What is the agenda?
Population control? I don't know.
You think?
Go ahead, Raj. Talk about that agenda. I'm going to start putting these links on Facebook in my computer from my other device. So
it is 7:59. This conversation is going very well, but we have got to take a commercial break and take some calls. 515-605-9325. Press 1 to speak. And when we come back, we're going to take 773-366. So stay close.
God sent the monthly sun bill today. This summer is really expensive, especially during this season. I'll probably have to work overtime to pay it.
Well, you better pay it on time. We don't want the sun to go out and we're sitting up here all day in the dark. Wouldn't it be terrible if God charged us for sunlight? Well, Thank God, the light and heat from the sun is free. So why are we paying such high bills for the energy we use in our homes? Because we don't know how to use solar energy, the free energy from the sun. You can convert your regular home to a solar energy home and save tremendously on your electric bill. Take a look at your electric bill. Wouldn't you like to reduce or possibly even eliminate that cost altogether? Let one of our solar consultants show you how. Call today, 312-849-3456. And schedule a free consultation. That's 312-849-3456. I'm Beata, your holistic life coach. These days, it's more important than ever to work on your physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual health. Are you consciously breathing deeply in stressful moments? Do you have a plan or daily routine to maintain balance in your awesome body? Are you struggling to be disciplined in your eating habits? When you partner with me, I'll help you develop a personalized health plan that works for your particular lifestyle. You can find out more about me at yourholisticlifecoach.com, where you can also review my 3-step protocol to guide you to abundant health. That's yourholisticlifecoach.com, and I'm Beata. If you or your organization need space for an event, call the Corey Event Center at 2423 East 75th Street in Chicago. For your parties, banquets, award ceremonies, free passes, concerts, and business seminars. Available 7 days a week. Now under event. Call us at the Corey at 773-2557. Do you worry about finances, family, health, job, relationships? Are you in pain? Do you feel stuck? If you answer yes to any of these questions, help is available. Don't worry, you're not alone. It's part of the human process. You only feel this way because you haven't mastered the voices in your head. No hype, just down-to-earth, solid, workable tools and techniques that you can practice daily. It's really food for the soul. Whether you want to learn how not to worry about anything, first type 2 diabetes, publish a book, promote your product or service, or just make extra money. Take advantage of the deal of the day. Go to ZeldaSpeaks.com or call 312-409-6619. It's the promo code, the female solution, and get free shipping. That's ZeldaSpeaks.com or 312-409-6619. Stop worrying today. Visit ZeldaSpeaks.com.
Grand Rising. And thank you for joining us back here on The Female Solution. I'm your host, Zelda Speaks. Welcome to Monday Morning Mindfulness. And my guests include my sisters and my brother of the microphone. Mm-hmm. You are now officially a brother of the microphone, Raj. Jodi Suson and Vieta Robinson, my sister from another mister. Be sure and join us tomorrow and all week from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. Self-care with Jodi Suson. And on Wednesdays, Naima Latif and Kareem Hamid, repairing family relationships. Thursday, it's the Women's Roundtable. And Friday, health and wellness with Vieta. And our Saturday rotating hosts are the first Saturday, nonviolent communication with Jana. Second Saturday, the Black Taboo with Love, Joy, and Powers. And our third Saturday is Travel with Deborah. We have our own travel agent here. And last but never least, the fourth Saturday, Wisdom with Mama D. And the show's on Saturday, 12 noon until 2 p.m. Central Standard Time. We're not on at 7 o'clock in the morning on Saturday, okay? So don't get that confused. And Sunday,
we'll be talking about this tomorrow again, right?
Yes, we will. This will be part 2 tomorrow because the lines are lit up. And on Sunday evenings, last night, Soul Purpose Healing with Vieta. If you didn't hear it, it's always in the archives, so you can always go back and hear it. Our topic today is my body, my choice, your right to your body. Is it really your body if you are being forced to do something you may or may not want to do, but you're being influenced? Let's go to the phone lines and see. 773-366. You're live on the Female Solution, Grand Rising. What's your name? Where you calling from? And what's your comment?
Grand Rising, this is Naima calling from Chicago.
Oh, that's Naima. I thought you were going to join us on this. Join us via
Live StreamYard.
live this morning. Yeah, can't get the words out. I just sent you the link, Naima. If you want to join us
Okay,
online.
all right. Well, I'll be joining you visually shortly.
Okay.
But I did want to make a note for a lot of people who are almost in panic mode, worried about losing jobs if they don't choose to get the jab, as they say.
Mm-hmm.
But this is really an opportunity for us to do the things we need to do to be more independent. Because a private company, and I read what the judge had to say in terms of dismissing the lawsuits that were put forth against a private company. And well, you know, the reality is a private company does have the right to make decisions. So during this time of our lockdown, all of us had an opportunity to create various independent enterprises that we could operate from home or that we could operate in conjunction with other people. I think the important thing, especially in an economy like this, a capitalist system like this, is to always have something that you control that sustains you, so that no one can force you to do anything against your will in order to survive. This is the power that we have that we keep giving away. So
yes, it is.
you don't want to be forced to do something that's against your principles, against your values, against your best self-interest. Then make yourself economically self-sufficient and independent of others who might try to make you do something that is against your values. This is what we have as a responsibility as adults. It's the same thing. You know, we've gone through a lot of protests of people who wouldn't hire us for jobs, and we say discrimination, and they get mad because we don't want to hire you. We didn't make this business. We made it to take care of our children. It's our own business. And we'd be angry and holler racism and sexism and all the other kind of isms. But the fact of the matter is, we have the same power as everybody else to create something that sustains us. And if we're working on a job where they want to insist that we do something that we don't agree with, we have the freedom to leave and do something else. We just have to have the faith to know that we have the power to sustain ourselves. Mm-hmm. And that's where we're missing. And that's why we keep going through these situations where we bump heads with people who want to force us to do something, or else they threaten to take away a job. Mm-hmm. We need the job. We need to have the power to sustain ourselves, so that if the option is either take this shot or leave, we can leave with the confidence that we don't need them. And that's the position of power we must put ourselves in all the time, so that we never are forced to do something against our own best interest.
Naima, there's also a caveat to this law, by the way. So the EEOC says there's a caveat to the number of employees. So if you have, I think, and don't quote me on this because I'm looking it up, but I think it's if you have less than 15 employees, you don't actually have that right. So this is only for the big boys.
Ah.
Mm-hmm. So it's 15 or 20 employees, something like that.
I'll say that again, about the 15 or 20 employees.
So if you have 15, I think, or 20 employees or less, you actually don't have the right to make the mandate. So for those of you who are in a situation where you're trying to start your own business, and we know, look, I know it took me like 5 or 6 years to really get my business going, and I'm so grateful that I took the plunge. But you can do jobs for companies that are smaller that can't mandate this. Okay, so if you can work for a company that has less than 20 employees, or less than 15, you have to look it up. I'll try to look it up while we're on this show. But basically, if you're a small company, you can't mandate this. If you're a bigger company, you can. And that's another, like, what are we doing? Raj, go ahead. I see that. Go ahead. What
Yeah,
did you
one
want
thing
to
I would
say?
also suggest is drawing up your own contract. Says that, hey, if I do take the vaccine that you're saying I need to take, I should be taking in order for me to get a job, you're going to be liable for my family's well-being, my medical expenses, this, that, and present that to them in a polite, friendly way, right? And I think in many cases, because it is up to them to really mandate it, right? It's not a law per se. It's just something that, hey, they can enforce if they want. And if they do, then okay, maybe I wouldn't take it anyway. But they might say, oh, well, maybe we'll make an exception because they don't want to be liable. And then if there's a paper trail that you can go back to, okay, that, hey, I was working for this company and I got fired because of this, and this is why they let me go, right? Because they wouldn't sign this document, or they were not interested in signing that document. So it gives you a bit of legal recourse, but beyond that, it kind of it puts it in writing and makes it official, right? Mm-hmm. And I think that if we all use that strategy, if enough of us use that strategy, the corporations would change their stance on it, right? Because, and that's we're going to force their hand, just like they're trying to force our hand. We can play that game too. And I would say that's the approach we all take. If we all did that, they'd have a big problem on that.
Daniel Whitehead, is that Whitehead?
It's Whitehead.
Whitehead says, one of our viewers from Facebook says, at what time does the FDA's emergency authorization run out on the experimental injection?
Well, and that's just the thing, right?
It's 2023. It's a 3-year.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Did not know.
Okay.
And in the meantime, they're trying to get authorization or approval for children. You know, they got 3-year window there or 2-year window, and they're trying to get all the arms they can get while they got this authorization. Mm-hmm. So the game, we got it like he just laid out. We got to play this game, contracts, and we got to get smarter and just mainly taking better care of ourselves.
Well, okay, so let's go back to kids. Okay, so I'm not a lawyer, not a doctor. So if you want real proof, go get a lawyer and go get a doctor for this next statement. There's my caveat. Okay. Certainly my opinion. The vaccine, my opinion, is harmful, right? I know a neuroscientist who studied with this mRNA. And this woman said, there's no good reason she would ever put that in her body. Now, this is a scientist.
You're talking about the current injection, not other things.
The current one. Now, for the other ones, and I have 3 points to make. Yeah, the other ones, if they made a vaccine that didn't include things like, I don't know, neurotoxins like mercury, I think there's aluminum, right? Formaldehyde, right? I mean, there's more, right? So there's a lot of stuff. You know, perhaps, and again, I'm not a scientist, a vaccine would be okay as long as they're not blending it with things that are harmful to our body. But the other thing is I mean, like if it was just like that little virus, right? Then you give a tiny bit, your body would be able to recognize it. The innate immune system would go into gear, go into action, and do its thing. But why are you making it work so hard? I mean, why? It doesn't need to. That's just like, why would you make your body work so hard with mercury and all these neurotoxins? Like, I don't get it.
It's witchcraft, Jodi. It's witchcraft.
It's not witchcraft. It's
scientists. Biblically, in Revelations 18:23, it says the nations would be deceived by pharmakeia. So pharmakeia equates to in the New Testament or in the Torah. If you look up pharmakeia in the Strong's Concordance in the Greek, it translates in the Old Testament as witchcraft everywhere. So if we break this down to what it really is biblically, it's witchcraft, because they're going in the lab and they're mixing this brew, and let's throw a little aluminum in there, and let's throw a little blah 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 in there. And why are they doing it? Because they have an agenda, a wicked agenda. So the game is for the wicked ones. We got to honor the wicked ones because they're brilliant. They're brilliant. They have laid out this plan for years, and people are falling, lining up, and begging for it. So the brilliant ones have put this together to fool, deceive, and then the funny thing I keep thinking about is the Bible says, if you defile the temple, I will destroy you. So they're going to destroy themselves with this, because it's defiling this sacred temple.
Yeah, I want to get though to finances for a moment. Okay,
Yeah,
because here's the thing, I'm with you on all of that, but then you want to look at, let's say you get the injection, whether it's this injection with the COVID-19, or you got him as a child. Now, and the other vaccines. The vaccine itself may not show up for you immediately or even in the next few years. And that's okay with pharma, because their intention is to have a revenue stream to put you on drugs for the rest of your life, right? Because based on your genetic makeup, each shot will be expressed based upon your weakest link. So like if I have Alzheimer's, if I have the APOE4 genetic expression, if I don't have the right science-based diet, Alzheimer's will be expressed in my body. If your genetic makeup is for cancer or for Parkinson's or for whatever, it gets expressed as that when you compromise your nervous system and your immune systm. So the vaccine is not...
Let me give you an example. Let me give you a personal example of that. One of my family members recently was in the hospital with swollen ankles. They could not get their swollen ankles to go down. Guess what? They had the injection about a month ago. So they go in the hospital, and I call one of the relatives and say, well, what happened? Oh, their ankles, so they couldn't get it down. They're obese to begin with. They have a genetic history of diabetes, high blood pressure, all the things you're talking about in their history genetically. Mm-hmm. And they got the injection, though, for a month ago or so. So I asked them, okay, you think it could be from the injection? Oh, no, it's all in the genes. My father had it, my brother had it. And guess what? The hospital couldn't find anything wrong to determine why the ankles were swollen. What the hell is going on in these hospitals? Are they so stupid and ignorant they can't connect kidneys and swollen? But they sent this person.
I think Raj has something he wants to say. Hold on.
They sent this person home saying they couldn't find anything, and the family is in total denial that it had anything to do with the injection they just had from Moderna, Pfizer, JJ, whatever.
I know. Hold on. So I want, if I may, Raj has something to say, and I would like to also follow up with what you're saying. But Raj, I think, is itching to say something. So let him talk.
Yeah, I appreciate that, and I agree with you 100%. So most people, first of all, don't know how to connect dots, okay, and aren't thinking on that level, right? Because they don't make those connections, right? And it's a very scary thing for them to make those connections. So that cognitive dissonance is very, very strong. But here's one thing I do want to talk about. I do want to go back to the agenda, right? What is the agenda? And from my perspective, I think this ties into a depopulation agenda. Mm-hmm. Now, everyone, or some people that are that think this way, are thinking about, okay, it's a shot that's going to terminate a lot of people. But I think it's a little bit more sophisticated than that. What if this shot is designed to create infertility in men and women? Ooh. So if you start looking at what the spike protein does, okay, it binds to the ACE2 receptor, right? And the ACE2 receptor is very heavily concentrated in the gonads. So in the ovaries, reproductive.
Otherwise known as the gonads. Okay.
Yeah, well, I mean, but ovaries and the testes, right? So in the reproductive organs of both men and women, and so if you have this runaway spike protein that's essentially binding to that ACE2 receptor and changing the function or the capacity for those organs to function the way they were supposed to. Well, maybe from their perspective, infertility is the goal for population control.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. And then there was a question that came in before the show, because I shared this show with a lot of people. And one of the questions from a girlfriend of mine said, well, if I've already had COVID-19, don't I already have the immunity in place? And why am I required to get a vaccine? Anybody want to address that? No?
Good question. You know, that's one of those personal decisions.
My body, my choice.
The research, honey. She needs to do her research and find out why. Yeah, you don't need the vaccine.
No, she knows she doesn't. She would just like us to address it.
Oh, okay.
But it's like we've all got to take personal responsibility to do some research, because otherwise they're going to come back with a new campaign and convince you your research was useless. You need to listen to your mother, your father, your brother, your sister who's already gotten it. There's nothing wrong with them. And so if we don't do the personal research, we're going to be convinced and swayed by all these relatives. I mean, I'm every day somebody who we never expected to get this injection failed because their relatives wouldn't let them in the house without it, or they couldn't travel here without it.
Yeah, it's time to speak up or forever hold your peace, people.
And do your homework. Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't look okay. Sorry about this, Vieta. This is going to come out wrong, but no, trust me.
What? Not perfect.
Okay, hear me on this.
Yeah.
F the research. You don't need to do the research. All you have to do is look at what the other vaccines have been doing to the human body, and look at the epidemics that we have for Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, diabetes. You'd have to be freaking blind not to see it.
Well, but see, we who have been in this field for 30 years, we've been doing the research. I didn't even think about vaccines until I started meeting mothers and hearing about mothers who had damaged children. It's like I'll say, oh, that's too bad. And then they just kept coming and coming. Every day, it was some other mother was showing up that their child was in diapers at the age of 20. And they traced it back to the SIDS, as Raj said. All those days of children dying, and we don't know why. And then that's how I got more familiar with the damage these injections are doing, is because I met mothers, human beings, suffering with their children, and their children died after injections. And so they're being ignored by a lot of people who don't think there are any side effects from these injections. But you're right, Jodi. You don't have to do a lot of research. Just go to Facebook, to the Facebook groups where mothers have had damaged children, and talk to mothers who've had children who are dead or who are suffering because they were injected. So it's been years of damage. If your eyes are open, or if you're meeting people every day. I met all those people in the health food store, most of them. They were coming in the health food store where I work, talking about what happened to their children. Their children had eczema. Oh, they just had a vaccine. Oh, I'm like, really? Day after day, I was meeting more and more people who were telling me about their experience with these vaccines as their children were suffering. So now those people who are wondering, well, I don't know if I should get the injection. Well, go out and talk to some mothers, or look up mothers. There's probably an internet group of mothers who have damaged children, and just look up SIDS and find out why are these children dying right after a vaccine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, one thing that people need to look at.
You don't have to do a lot of research. You have to talk to people. I'm sorry. Go
ahead.
No
No worries. you know, these things don't always happen right away, right? I mean, you know, we talk about the immediate reactions, but let's get back to the facts. Okay, the facts are, well, okay, I'm going to call it my opinion because it's just
Right, just cover yourself.
right. But here's
Your opinion based on the facts that you read, okay?
Yeah, so now, all vaccines damage because essentially you're putting in foreign materials into your body that should not be there. Things that we've already talked about, right? Things like aluminum, you know, mercury. They say they don't put the mercury in them anymore, but they still use it in the process, so it still gets into the vaccines and so on. But if you start looking at all the pretty much just about every vaccine disclaimer, they give you potential side effects, right? They all have side effects. Every single one does. And if you read some of the list of the side effects, and then you compare them to what they call serum sickness, they fall in line all with serum sickness.
Wait, what is it called?
It's called serum sickness.
Serum sickness. Okay, never heard of that term.
So serum sickness is a hypersensitivity reaction that results in the injection of foreign proteins into the serum. So this is, and so some of the things are like fatigue, lethargy, kind of foggy brain, all these things, joint pain, dizziness, all these fall in line with, if you compare to what the normal reactions are of serum sickness, and essentially what it is you're contaminating the blood supply, is what you're doing.
Yeah.
That is what serum sickness really is. You're putting foreign agents that should not be in the body. That you know, this whole thing is really quite maddening. I mean, the best way to get immunity is just to get it yourself, and then you build the antibodies. Your own body will do that.
I had it twice.
That's what I'm saying.
Woo!
And it's got what, a 99.7 whatever recovery rate. I mean, there's no need for an experimental vaccine. Okay,
So Matt, sorry, I don't even want to call it that anymore. Can we change our language into it's a weapon of mass destruction? Go ahead.
It's a gene therapy. Yeah, absolutely. No, that's a good one. But it's really insane that people are allowing all this to happen to themselves, and they do not know what they're doing. They have no idea.
That's what happens when you continue to allow yourself to be influenced by everything that's going on out there. We have been brainwashed to believe everything that we see, hear, feel, touch, experience, and major market media. Look, these folks have been at this for a very long time. They're not new to this, so it's no surprise to me that we have just sucked it all up like a sponge and believe it like it's the word of God. It's come down on us and told us that we've got to take that jab if we want to survive. But then on the other hand, scripture tells us to trust the temple. Arm the temple before you face the day. Dr. Maya Angelou says, before you face the day, the late Dr. Maya Angelou, before you face the day, face God, whatever you choose to call it. And listen, we're too busy doing all these other things. We got to turn on our cell phone, get the news, get the weather, get what's going on Facebook. So we have not even taken the time. Talk about research. You know, like he said, you don't even have to do research. Turn with
forgive me, but you really don't. It's so blatantly obvious that unless you've been so programmed, unprogram yourself, people. Really, turn off the program.
Well, people are lazy. People are really lazy today.
Yes,
because,
especially Americans.
I go to their house. CNN is on all the time. I have one relative
24/7.
For over 20, 30 years. Every time I go to the house, CNN is on the TV all day, every night.
Yep.
And so they're lazy to the point of trusting major media to give them the information they need to keep their bodies healthy, everything. They're trusting CNN News. And thank goodness took them out of the airport, because then people sit waiting for a plane watching CNN. I've been in so many airports
it all up.
CNN It's like people are mesmerized by CNN.
Yes.
So this
And
has been years in the works.
it is all
Using major media.
it is subliminal training that we are not even aware of. There are little messages in the corner of the television, and certain sights and certain sounds trigger things. It's like, oh, I better hear this. I heard that. I need to hear the what comes after this. As someone who has worked, who's retired from broadcasting, I know a few tricks of the trade that are not available to the general public. So if I come up missing, you know why. I talk too much. And I'm going to continue to talk too much until I leave this planet, because it's just not in me to be quiet.
It sounds like we might be in the same cell.
Yeah. Because they don't want you to know. They refer to us as sheeples.
Yeah.
We're sheep.
Yeah. So that that TV, that CNN, I call it the hypnotist in the corner of the room.
Oh wow.
That's it.
The hypnotist in the corner of the room. I love that. And
So
it is hold that thought, Jodi. We got to take our last commercial break, so you stay close and we'll be right back.
I got a thing for you in the chat. Take a look at chat.
Functional medicine doctor on plant-based healing essential oils, which are revolutionizing the way we manage our well-being. Schedule today to improve your health. Do you want to live in a world without war? Join our global peace movement. Heavenly Culture World Peace Restoration of Life transcends culture, religion, ideology, and other boundaries to achieve peaceful harmony in the global society. HWPL is committed to bringing world peace and cessation of war through peaceful dialogue between religious groups. I am Director Shinsu Kim of the HWPL Chicago branch of North America. Join us for our next gathering. Call 773-580-1501 and be a part of the movement for world peace. Email us at chicagohwpl@gmail.com. This is Minister Cynthia Marie Williams, spiritual counselor and advisor. I invite you to a private meeting in the areas of business, health, finances, relationships, for introductory cost of $20. Please call because there is a higher power that can help you. 312-802-4743. Peace and blessings to you all. Call me. 312-802-4743. Do you worry about finances, family, health, job, relationships? Are you in pain? Do you feel stuck? If you answered yes to any of these questions, help is available. Don't worry, you're not alone. It's part of the human process. You only feel this way because you haven't mastered the voices in your head. No hype, just down-to-earth, solid, workable tools and techniques that you can practice. It's really food for the soul. Whether you want to learn how not to worry about anything, reverse type 2 diabetes, publish a book, promote your product or service, or just make extra money. To take advantage of the deal of the day, go to ZeldaSpeaks.com or call 312-409-6619. Mention promo code The Female Solution and get free shipping. That's ZeldaSpeaks.com or 312-409-6619. Stop worrying today. Visit ZeldaSpeaks.com.
We're back on The Female Solution. Welcome to Monday Morning Mindfulness as we wind down for the last half hour. If you'd like to join the conversation, 515-605-9325. Remember, you got to press 1 to speak. Otherwise, you may not get a chance to speak. And we're here today. My body, my choice. Your right to your body. Is it yours? Is it really? If you have no control of it? Good question. I'm joined
Okay.
by my sisters of the microphone, Jodi Suson of Suson Essentials, my sister from another Mr. Viata, and my brother is Raj, who is our male counterpart today. He's got feminine energy, and we've got a little masculine energy. So we're just balancing it all out here and sharing the good news.
He is my soul brother. I will tell
He's
you
our
that.
soul brother.
Mhm, for sure.
Jodi, you
I'm
have a video?
I have a video that you can, I put it in there. You just have to add it to the stream. And I'd like you to play what this valedictorian spoke about. Because do you see it there? She's wearing cap and gown.
Okay, I've got, oh, there it is. Okay,
Mhm.
Jodi, Deborah says, let's give more messages of positivity instead of negativity on what folks are doing incorrectly. Let's heal our mind and body. She also says, your body, your choice, your choices, just try another way. Okay.
Well, yeah,
All
I mean, Deborah is correct, but let's listen to this young girl who just graduated from high school, shall we?
Okay. There she
And wait, can we take off Deborah's thing so we can see?
Oh yeah, hold on a second here. Okay, how do I get rid of that? Hold on here.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
So you go to comments, I think it is, and you either show or display. And if you take off, you got to not have nothing can be take your mouse off of all of them, right? So if it has a link, you just click on, if it's highlighted, just click on it again, it'll go away. So right now you have NBC Chicago, just click on that one.
I'm in comments. And okay.
Mm-hmm.
Not in comments, that's in the banners. That's why that's there.
Right.
I gotta get out of that. But until like, there you go.
There you go. And now you just click on, I will click on the video to get it to play. Hold on 1 second.
Okay. There's Fagel in the background. Can you make it bigger?
Yep.
Right here.
How's that?
We can't hear her. Yeah. No audio.
Hold on. Hold on. So you can't hear it. Oh, then I have to take off.
All right. So give me 1 second here.
And if you send me I was gonna say, if you send me the link, I can pull it up.
I did. That's okay. I think we're okay. Here we go.
Expressing my gratitude for the people that I care about.
Can you hear it now?
Yeah.
But I would like to say thank you to Coach. I think he's had a bigger role in my life than he realizes. Okay.
She's froze.
School, we need to make our voices heard. Today, I was going to talk about TV and media and content because it's something that's very important to me. However, under light of recent events, it feels wrong to talk about anything but what is currently affecting me and millions of other women in the state. Recently, the heartbeat bill was passed in Texas. Starting in September, there will be a ban on abortions after 6 weeks of pregnancy, regardless of whether the pregnancy was a result of rape or incest. 6 weeks. That's all women get. And so before they realize, most of them don't realize that they're pregnant by 6 weeks.
So I'm going to pause for a second.
Wow.
I just want to pause for a second. And here's why.
Okay.
There's a lot of sex trafficking going on.
Okay.
And because of the sex trafficking, there's a lot of those women are being, a lot of those women actually are being forced to have abortions as well, because, they're being used as sex slaves, right? Mm-hmm. And then the owner of that slave needs her to be in working condition.
Yes.
Yeah. And I'm not advocating for any of like, here's the thing. I don't have to advocate for abortion or not advocate for abortion. Like what I believe in is irrelevant. right? What's relevant is that people's choices are being taken away. And then the other thing is that, I mean, there's just so many caveats because there's so many different ways you can play this, but I'm going to let her finish her speech.
Okay.
So before they have a chance to decide if they are emotionally, physically, and financially stable enough to carry out a full-term pregnancy, before they have a chance to decide if they can take on the responsibility of bringing another human being into the world, that decision is made for them by a stranger. A decision that will affect the rest of their lives is made by a stranger.
Okay, so a decision is made for her, made by a stranger. Does this sound familiar? Okay, shall we go on? Let's go on.
Yes, ma'am.
I have dreams and hopes and ambitions. Every girl graduating today does. And we have spent our entire lives working towards our future. And without our input and without our consent, our control over that future has been stripped away from us. I am terrified that if my contraceptives fail, I am terrified that if I am raped, then my hopes and aspirations and dreams and efforts for my future will no longer matter. I hope that you can feel how gut-wrenching that is. I hope you can feel how dehumanizing it is to have the autonomy over your own body taken away from you.
Oh, wait a minute. What did she just say? To have autonomy of your own body taken away from you.
Yes.
Do you see? This is happening in all different areas of our life. So you don't have to believe in vaccines or believe or don't believe. You don't have to believe or don't believe in abortion. I don't care what you believe. At the end of the day, it's all about respect. Respect for your own choice.
Yes. And right now, they don't want us to have any choices.
Yeah. So she's got a few seconds left.
And I'm talking about this today, on a day as important as this. On a day honoring 12 years of hard academic work, on a day where we are all gathered together, on a day where you are most inclined to listen to a voice like mine, a woman's voice, to tell you that this is a problem, and it's a problem that cannot wait. And I cannot give up this platform to promote complacency and peace when there is a war on my body and a war on my rights.
Oh, whoa. What did she say? There's a war on her body and a war on her rights. Keep on going, sister.
A war on the rights of your mothers, a war on the rights of your sisters, a war on the rights of your daughters. We cannot stay silent.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, all right. A war on our bodies. A war on our bodies. A war on our bodies. And we are the sheeples. If they say do it, then it must be done. Really?
And here's the thing. I get she's not talking about a vaccination, and that is okay. Here's the basic concept, people. It's my body, my choice. It's respect for what Raj decides, what Viata decides, what your neighbor decides, what Zelda decides, what our parents decide, what our children, our brothers, our sisters decide. You don't have a choice in the matter what other people do with their body. Yeah. And somewhere down the road, people thought it was okay to start telling other people what to do with their life. I'm working at I was helping someone out at a farmer's market. A man comes up to me, and I'm going to move my thing now. He has a scar from here down to his belly button. And the first question he says to me is, am I vaccinated? And I'm thinking, sir, you have got bigger problems than that. Right?
For sure. But
I'm saying,
he thought it was his right
to ask me.
Yeah.
I don't even know him. I've never seen this person in my life.
It doesn't matter. It's always easier. How do I know this? It's always easier to point a finger and look at someone else's issues than to deal with my own. It's just easier. And we're just lazy. We just take the easy way out.
Yeah, what they're encouraging is a prison mentality.
Yeah.
This is what this is, snitch culture, and kind of, you're the prison guard, and it's and you tell the prisoners what to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's just, to me, Raj, Zelda. Look, if I have friends who have gotten the vaccine, okay, I'm okay with that because that's their choice in the matter. Look,
I pray for them, and I don't agree with it, but it's not my charge to tell them what to do.
Yeah, can I tell you something? I got a call from a friend in Germany just yesterday. I talked to him yesterday. He spent 3 weeks in jail. Can I tell you something? I got a call from for not wearing a mask just yesterday.
Really?
3 weeks in jail for not wearing a mask.
Why?
He's a physical therapist for not wearing a mask.
Where?
Germany.
Germany?
Germany. Yeah.
Really?
Now he's looking at losing his license. He's looking at who knows what he's looking at. I mean, they're even talking about 5 years, not 3 weeks. 5-year sentence. But essentially, it was snitches. People that are that are ignorant, that don't know what the hell they're talking about. Reporting him to the authorities, so to speak. Okay, and put him in jail for 3 weeks. And disrupted his whole life, his whole family life, his kids, everything. It's absolutely it's insane what's happening. We need to stand up. Compliance is the problem. We no longer should comply. Period.
Well, we don't have to. There are resources available. And I want to show what Jodi just sent me, this document. If I can pull it up here, I want to share that.
Resources to fight back against employers who force the vaccine. Okay.
Yep, there it is, right there. Okay. Can you see that? Resources to fight back? Nope, you can't see. There
you can.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And then I'm going to scroll down because I don't like what it says at the top. So I'm just going to pass that up and move down here where it says it's from the Health Freedom Defense Fund. Notice to employers, March 2nd, 2021. This serves notice to all employers that any compulsory COVID-19 requirement imposed upon an employee violates federal law, Title 21, Section 360 BBB-3 of the Federal Food, Drug, and Cosmetic Act, invests the Secretary of Health and Human Services of the permissive authority to grant emergency use authorization, however the statute requires. So you go back and read all of that, but just so that you know that that information is available, and I'm posting that on my blog on ZeldaSpeaks.wordpress.com, so you know that that information will be there when you need it. So
and here's the other thing, Zelda. So we know that if you choose to get vaccinated, you have no recourse for the pharmaceutical company. They are not being held liable. But I think how it's been in the past, but we never know what the future is going to look like. If a employer forces you to get vaccinated and you do it against your better judgment because you need income, they are now held liable whatever happens to you and your family.
Oh.
Now, it can always change, but, and we don't have an attorney on here, so.
I have a question about that. Do you need to, if you do, I know you're not an attorney, but if you do take the shot against your will, do you need to have something in writing that stated this was against my will?
I certainly would.
Well, I would too, but the mere fact that if they're saying, if there's a collective and they're saying that you have to get vaccinated or to work here, That's duress. And when you do something under duress, you're screwed. Okay, that means that the person who caused the duress doesn't have a leg to stand on.
So I would suggest, for the sake of the strongest possible legal case, to get examined before you take the shot to ensure that your records show that you didn't have any of the symptoms that may happen afterwards. So you have records of that, and then you have in writing that you did not want to take the shot, but you were forced to in order to keep your job, the threat of losing your job if you did not comply. And then after you take the shot, all the symptoms that you have, all the sickness, anything else that creates physical bodily discomfort, any kind of doctor's visit you have to do, that you then sue based on your documentation that you were in good health before you took the shot. You didn't want to take the shot. They made you take the shot. Now you've got these symptoms, and now they have to pay. I would suggest to go through those documentation steps just to give yourself the strongest possible legal case.
But here's the thing, you're not going to be around. So
everybody who has bad reactions, it may not be fatal, but it could be bad enough where you're hospitalized for any length of time, or disabled or in any capacity for any length of time. So at least to have everything in place for
for your children, maybe. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing: it's changing your genetic makeup.
Yeah, it's not always.
I'd like to put a positive spin, as Deborah asked that we put a positive spin on this. So, we haven't even talked about 5G poisoning the cells of every human being, causing more stress.
Well,
so, as one person said, one of the many videos I watched, he said, this whole divine reset we're going through is about becoming more spiritual. That's the only way you're going to survive it, is to become more spiritual. The whole plan is to stress people out to the degree that their souls leave their body. So all we've talked about is all the confusion about, what do I do if I lose my job? I've already got the injection. What about all my family members who've got this? Is all about stressing everybody out to the point where they're so sick they give more money to pharmaceutical. So as one man said, it's hard to be human when 5G is radiating everywhere and poisoning our cells. That's really the key to all of this, is that they've been blasting the whole Earth population with 5G, poisoning the cells. Then they call the particles from that poison viruses. So now we got a new Delta variant. We got this. So just a minute, excuse me, just a minute. What Deborah wants is a positive spin. Whether you've taken the injection or not, this is all in divine order. Why haven't all the prayers been answered that said, oh, please stop this, I can't handle this, please stop this? They haven't been answered because the divine reset is that you change your behavior, that you adopt new beliefs, you prioritize your life journey. And if you're not doing that, there are going to be consequences. So let us all support our family, friends who have to suffer the consequences of their choices. My grandchildren are wonderful teachers about consequences, because they either know how to get over them quickly, or I'm right there to hold their hand, say, listen, it's okay. And that's what we have to do with our friends and family now. It's okay. We'll help you through this. If I have to go to your funeral, it's okay. You're going to be rewarded. But the positive, in my opinion, is it's a divine reset. Let's all get more spiritual. We need to be out in nature more than ever. We need to be breathing deeper. We need to be changing our diet. This is the positive. We've all being asked to change your behavior. Thank you, Deborah, for putting that out. And what did she say? Give the people resources to combat folks who disagree. So the resources that we continue to be compassionate, loving, and share wisdom. So that's my take on that, being positive. Thank you.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, but here's the thing. I'm right now in Pentwater, Michigan, and I was walking down the street. I was walking down the street yesterday, which was Sunday, and I was also walking down the street Saturday night. I'm walking down the street, and I'm like, Andrew, I need to get off this street. There's something wrong. The energy's off. So then we're walking down the street yesterday and we look up, and I did a Facebook Live video on this. On top of the Pentwater water tower, on the freaking water tower. You following this? Are 5G, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5G towers on top of the water.
You can't escape that, Jodi. They're everywhere right now.
I understand. I'm not saying escape it, but what are you going to do to protect yourself?
This is what I mean by being spiritual. Love frequency is higher than 5G. But most of us are in love and fear and anger and bitterness and blah, blah, blah. We're on this roller coaster of emotions. We can't stay in love because we haven't been trained there. We don't know about love, staying in love vibration. That's a training process.
I'm training myself,
to survive.
But if
that's
you
our
don't know,
to stay in love frequency. And that's what we have to practice every day.
You need to pause. Hold on. You need to at least start with the awareness of what's causing you distress. So
5G, we know that, Jodi. You know that. 5G.
You know that. You know that.
No. Most people, we in this group, we all know that. Does anybody in this group know
I'm not talking to this group. I'm talking to the world out there. Because I went and talked to the grocery store that was right underneath it. And he said, hey, I've got concrete. It's going to protect me. Don't tell me that people know it. They don't.
Well, I know we got to leave.
So then the consequences will show up for everybody who doesn't know it. And we are here to we're educate 7 days a week. We're educating people about all this. So we just keep
this
doing
conversation tomorrow. We're going to talk about tomorrow the highest frequencies, how to increase our frequencies. We're going to talk about that. We're going to finish this tomorrow. Part 2 on self-care with Jodi. Naima, you wanted to speak before we play the closing?
Just that last point that was made about the highest frequency, and it doesn't cost anything. You don't have to pay anything.
Yes.
The love inside
it's free.
your heart that actually does, in fact, protect you from all of the things that are negatively affecting your body. But you have to know this for surety, because if you worry, that means you're not projecting love. What is it? Perfect love casts out all fear. So if we are living in love and truly understanding that the creator of the universe has designed us to be always regenerating life, then we have no need to fear whatever happens, whether it's 5G towers, whether it's a virus. We really are immune the stronger our love vibration is. And that's what all the spiritual masters have been teaching us throughout the ages.
Is that 432HZ?
No, love frequency is actually, I think, 528. Raj, can you confirm that?
Yeah, there are people that believe the solfeggio, on the solfeggio scale, 528 is the frequency of love. I personally like 432. I think it's more of a balanced frequency in that it's harmonious, right? It aligns with the 369 principle that Tesla talked about, right? And so it's got a perfect symmetry.
Turn off CNN and turn on 432 hertz, 512. I'll turn on YouTube hertz healing meditation. That's a daily thing for everybody.
And where do you get that? Where do you get that?
YouTube.
How much does it cost?
And just search for any meditation healing. They got tons of them on there.
How much does it cost?
Zero.
Free.
Zero. Free.
That's the only thing that I know that's free. That's really free.
Yeah, me too. I'm there every day.
And it's a healing process. Naima, are we doing the after show?
We can. It depends on if those want to stay.
You all want to hang around for the after show? We love the after show.
I have to jump on Clubhouse. I have a room.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I have a meeting that starts in a couple minutes, but I will see you guys tomorrow, all of you.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Jodi. Thank you, Raj.
Raj, you'll join us tomorrow, I hope.
I certainly will try. Absolutely. Let me see. I have to check my calendar.
Okay.
And tomorrow morning.
I'll get that link out.
I think I could do it.
What's that?
I should be here.
Awesome. I'll send the link out to everybody. Yeah, with all due respect, I don't think that everyone really understands. Look, I consider myself I consider myself like knowledgeable. And it took me a couple of walks down the street to figure out what was going on with my body. Like, I didn't figure it out the first 2 times. So we can't, I don't think, can assume that people understand this.
Okay. Let's say our
We
goodbyes.
don't. They're ignorant. You're right, Jodi. They're ignorant.
Let's
There's
say our
ignorance
goodbyes in all the
everywhere.
languages.
Israel,
Namaste. Shalom.
Afghanistan, Tashakkur,
Wonderful day, everyone.
Saudi Arabia,
Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye-bye now.
Shalom, shalom, shalom.
Shalom.
rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you. Peace be upon you, and the mercy of God, and God's blessings.
And it is officially 9 a.m. in the world, that part of the world that we live in. And we are now officially on the after show with my sisters of the
10 a.m. in the east.
It's 10 a.m. in Florida, East Coast time.
Yay.
And we are officially in the after show. Yeah.
Yes, sister.
So, take it away, Naima.
Well, of course, this is a great segue to the main issue, and that is how to control your own frequency inside your body, how you keep control of the state of your health, and how everything you need is already inside of you. It's amazing that people will study the teachings of the one we know as Jesus, Yeshua, and still not get it, not understand how he performed what we consider to be miracles, but what was in fact was seeing someone in the mental state of their perfection, as opposed to what appears to be the imperfection, and realizing that all of us are perfect. We create the imperfections because of our own thoughts. And when we lower our frequency below the frequency of love, that's when we become susceptible to illness, to the physical manifestation of the lower frequency in our bodies. So everything that is happening is basically just reflecting to us where we are in our spiritual evolvement, in the frequency that we're holding. If we are in a constant state of worry, if we're in a constant state of anger, if we're in a constant state of resentment, we're going to experience it as physical illness. Or something like a virus comes along. Not to blame people who catch it, but it is able to overtake those who are at a lower frequency, either because of what they've done to their bodies, what they put inside their bodies that are not health producing, or the lifestyle they're living that is stress producing. So this virus has really been like a mirror holding up to you. What are you on the inside? Yes, you can wear the mask, you can get vaccinated, you can do all those things. But if you don't change what's inside of you, then you're still going to keep manifesting illnesses. After the virus is gone, it'll be just something else. But whatever it is, you're only susceptible to it based on what's inside of you, which is unloving. So if the frequency of love is what keeps you at optimum health, then that's what we need to learn how to do. That's what we need to learn how to induce, how to attract, how to project. That's the state of our constant regeneration of life, our constant regeneration of health, our perpetual youth. All of these things are powers we already have. And if the command is constantly being given to love your neighbor as yourself, love yourself, wish for yourself the best for yourself, wish for the well-being of those around you, create systems that maintain their well-being and your well-being. Anything that does less than that is going to create sickness. So any kind of way of life that's hurtful ultimately is going to hurt those who support it and perpetuate it. So no, we don't want to support systems that are corrupt and unjust, because it creates an energy that's unloving, and it creates an energy that's going to attract sicknesses to us. Whether it's
And Naima, something I've noticed is those people who have chosen to take the injection, they're not as fearful anymore. So it's almost like everything you're saying is so on point. It's almost like the people who have been injected needed that to come out of their fear. Whereas those of us who are choosing not to be injected, we already know we needed to come out of the fear. We, like you said, the frequency of fear and shame and guilt and unforgiveness and hate, that's what has really been driving people's sickness and disease. So now I'm noticing, okay, people, oh, I got the vaccine. Oh, they dancing in the street now, taking their mask off. And it's like, oh, wait a minute. Frequency's changing around here. So maybe the divine reset part of it was, let people choose that pathway to come out of their fear. Hallelujah. Now, because now it feels, does it not feel different? It does to me. When I go out, people's masks are off. They've got, wearing the t-shirt, got the injection. I'm like, whoa, this is good. This is really good. I'm not going to take it, but I like the feeling it's bringing right now, temporarily maybe, but that's the positive Deborah's maybe talking about, that some people needed that to come out of the fear. Now we pray and hope that there are no major consequences to their body for making that choice. But right now the energy has changed around us because they're no longer thinking they're going to get a virus.
Right.
And the Savior has arrived.
Yeah, well, that's an excellent point, because that's really what needed to change, that frequency of fear. So if we can manage to not attack each other for the choices that we make, the people who want to take the injection, be at peace with that. The people who don't want to take the injection, be at peace with that, and allow people to make the choices that they need to make so that they can feel at peace and not be in fear. As you said, some people, well, they already knew. Well, I already know I'm immune to it because I'm not on that frequency where I can get it. They already know that. The people who didn't know that, now they need to feel like they had some kind of protection, and so now they're okay. They're at peace. They're not living in fear anymore, and that's what we needed. We needed to reduce the fear vibration that was causing the distress. So whatever you need to do to reduce your fear, you do that. And we can agree to disagree, as they say. We can agree to allow people to make the choice they need to make. And for those who choose not to, we can be at peace with that, understanding that their choice does not make us more susceptible to the virus. If we have the injection and we believe that this is going to protect us, then it shouldn't matter what other people do. If we're believing,
I don't know if you heard the speech by the high school, I think it was a high school valedictorian, talking about her concern that she no longer has a choice to have an abortion. Yeah. Whatever. This is, you know what, Naima, that is such a perfect example of this millennial. I don't know if she's not millennial, she's Generation X. This is a perfect example of how out of touch, to me, that generation is with the higher priorities. You're more concerned about having the choice to end the life that might grow in you. You're more concerned about if you're taking a birth control pill, which is very damaging these days to your whole body, that you're going to be suffering. She's more concerned about the feminism, the liberal movement of women, than she is about the sacredness of a baby growing inside of her. How many of us grew up in our youth, and our parents grew up realizing that was a sacred thing going on inside of you? And how many of us still have that feel? Very few women, it seems, in that generation even look at that as a sacred thing and it's something to honor. She's more concerned about having the choice to end it if she's having sex with, and this is a high school student. I'm like thinking this is really something interesting. I don't want to say sad, but it's very interesting how a high school student can be that concerned about being able to make the choice to end the life that starts growing in you. That's where we are in this society, where that generation, that's their priority, that's their concern. That she would interrupt, she would make a speech about it.
But think about this, though. What we, again, have to do is be able to accept people where they are in their
That's right. That's right.
and be at peace with the fact that this is where she is in her understanding.
Yeah.
There are many women who would be upset at what she said, and there are many women who would totally agree. Now, as we grow in our understanding, there are women who understand that when a life comes into you, that life force energy made a decision. Even if that life force energy made a decision to come into you after an act of rape, this is a soul, for whatever karmic reasons, wanted to come into a situation with the vibration of violence and resistance, and whatever reason that they made that choice, that was a choice of that life force energy, that soul that chose to come into you. Now, if you, the woman, you're carrying the seed that has been fertilized against your will, you're carrying you're carrying the egg that has been fertilized against your will, and you say, I don't want this, and I don't want anybody to prevent me from getting rid of this. I then want a doctor to remove it. Well, the doctor could then make a judgment and say, well, I don't want to be the one that takes this life out of you because it's a sacred life. I'm not going to do it. And you can say, well, you're interfering with my decision. And then you can find a doctor that says, okay, well, for a certain amount of money, yeah, I'll take it out of you. I don't care one way or another. It's just up to you. So everybody who is concerned about their free will choices being taken away, there's always that issue that is a hot button for them. For some women, it's abortion. Well, what if I get raped? Or what if I get pregnant by somebody I wasn't ready to have a child by yet? I should have the right to abort. Well, you can feel that way, but you're also asking someone else to participate in something, and they may not feel comfortable with doing that. You can't make them feel comfortable with that. You can't make a doctor who maybe they have certain principles that they feel they must honor with their Hippocratic oath, do no harm. And maybe they feel like abortion is wrong because this is a life. And maybe you feel like, well, this pregnancy is wrong because it wasn't something I wanted. And so you have these conflicting things whenever you have people who are acting out of alignment with love. This person who chose to force a sex act, well, that person started the whole chain of events where now other people have to make decisions that they don't feel comfortable with. But then also you take a look at the reality that when we choose to engage in sex, knowing that we didn't intend for a life to be formed, even when it's consensual and the woman says, well, something happened, my birth control didn't work, but you made that choice. You opened the door for the soul who needed to or wanted to come through here and have this earth experience. You made the choice to make that possible. So now you've made the choice to do the act of your own free will, but you don't like the outcome of it. You don't like the outcome of somebody else's decision, which was the soul that came into you.
And that's the wisdom they came to learn, what you just said. They came to learn that. So we don't have to force that on them. They're going to learn it from their choices and their consequences.
They're going to learn it. And so all of us who are at a point of understanding, our job is to continue to teach. And those who can't hear, after they have the experience, then they'll be able to hear. Sometimes they just won't be able to hear it until they have the experience. That's how they chose to learn it. You'll have those who will hear it and they got it. They don't have to go through the experience. They say, oh, I understand. So they make the decisions so that their lives will go the way they want it to go, as opposed to going in a direction they didn't want, going through a lot of pain, suffering, grief, agony, stress, all of those things. And then they understand it. So everybody
they could avoid the suffering if they tapped into wisdom of the scriptures, whatever holy books they're out there. If they tap into the wisdom of those scriptures that describe circumstances that have consequences and lessons, they might avoid the suffering. But this generation, they're not reading the scriptures. They're not reading the holy book. A lot of them are going into yoga and vegetarianism, but they're not getting the wisdom that we got in our schools. So in our school, in our grow up, so there's going to be a lot of hand holding for this generation, in my opinion.
Well, you look at many of them who have observed people representing various religions being very hypocritical. Everything from the priests and the pastors who behind the scenes impregnate
the rabbis and the gurus,
all the people who are supposed to be holy and knowledgeable, having sexual relationships with people that they're not honoring with marriage or an acknowledged relationship. And so the hypocrisy of that is being observed by this generation. And so that's why they wash their hands of all of the religiosity, because they see the hypocrisy in it.
Right. But so they need the lesson. Yeah, they need the lessons they're going to learn.
So I think as we grow in wisdom, we also grow in non-judgment, because everybody has to learn according to where they are in their understanding, whatever they've been taught growing up. And that's taught by the book and taught by example, because the example is really the teacher. What people did around you is what they taught you. What they said doesn't mean anything if it isn't in conjunction with what they did. So you can have, and I know many families, people say, I was raised in the church, but then you had all kinds of scandals going on. You had all kinds of wrongdoing. You had molestations, all kinds of things happening undercover, behind the scenes, not talked about, even though you're in the house of worship. And this is all religions. It's not just one, all of them, because all people have things they're struggling with. So you're going to find the same misdeeds throughout humanity everywhere on the planet. The challenge is to accept people where they are in their understanding, not condemn them for the mistakes they make, because those mistakes, what the sister's book said, the blessing is in the lesson. Mm-hmm. If this is how your soul chooses to learn, then this is how you're going to learn. And so whatever you go through, if you can come out of it with greater understanding, so that you can pass that wisdom on to the next person who may be willing to learn through your example, as opposed to having to learn it the hard way and going through it themselves. Then you can save people from going through a lot of unnecessary suffering.
But you know what, Naima, what is unnecessary suffering? Everybody comes into this earth journey to learn lessons. Some people need to suffer in this journey more than they did the last. That's the way I see it. So my love and compassion and wisdom is accepting that everybody has an assignment. Some of that includes suffering. How much, I don't know. I'm trying to help people avoid the suffering. Some of them don't want to listen. So I have to just sit back and observe these days, observe without judgment, as you said, and hope and pray that they don't suffer too much. But then I'm at a point now, if they die, reward time, because you try to help people avoid the suffering. You hoping and praying they don't die, and then they die. And you're like, okay, I'm not getting into sad energy frequency anymore because somebody didn't listen to either me or someone else. They weren't paying attention to the Holy Spirit's voice, and don't do that. And then they die. So then we can talk about death, because you've talked about that a lot on your 555, about what is that, and even accepting the death with some joy, that their assignment ended, and you did what you could to show love and acceptance and compassion. But sometimes their assignment's going to end, and guess what? That's all in divine order. So I'm just coming out of the fear of everything these days. No more fear, no more worry, no more sadness. All of that is keeping me at a higher frequency, and my health is like where it needs to be, because they're going to bombard us with more fear about variants and more flu and all this. It's going to keep coming. So it's up to us to keep raising that love frequency, and loving me and loving everybody's journey, whatever it is.
Absolutely. And we can't be loving if we're judgmental, because judgment is non-love. That's like saying you're not what you should be. And everybody is exactly what they need to be to learn what they need to learn. Like you say, there are going to be some people who go through some suffering, but then also there are people who've gone through suffering with illnesses that inspired others to go into medicine to learn about healing. So we as a collective body get more wisdom by striving to learn how to prevent the suffering that we see around us. So every invention was motivated to address some challenge we were having. So everything, even like polio, which was, a major epidemic. Well, you had the polio vaccine, which started this whole vaccine situation, but it helped at that time. So the intention behind things was for healing and to get rid of something that was plaguing humanity. So
and then as we move into the fourth and fifth dimension, we talk about this all the time. We're all in the third dimension, molasses of fear and anxiety and worry and doubt. Moving to the fourth dimension is we accept bad. Nothing is good, nothing's bad. Like you said, some people suffered and taught somebody else a lesson through their suffering. So that's why the fourth dimension is where we all need to get, not judging whether it's good or bad, wrong or right, but it's good for somebody, and good. Even your suffering is going to teach something. Your death is going to teach something. So fourth dimension, we trying to get there, but it's like this molasses of, I gotta worry about that. I gotta have fear. I gotta have anxiety. I gotta have blah, 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 blah.
And people can only know what they've been taught.
Yeah.
The fear of death has been the driving force for humanity for too long. Once we really receive the information and accept the information that there is no death, there's only transition back to the non-physical from which we came, in which we get it to understand the lesson we just learned, then there's no more fear. Then we can focus on living life abundantly. We can focus on maintaining optimum health in the body that we're inhabiting for as long as we're here. We can focus on the joy we can spread to others while we're here. But as long as we're fearing death and believing that death is a reality, then we're doing things abnormal to prevent it instead of learning how to live. Learning how to live is not the same as learning how not to die. Learning how to live means you are enjoying life. Focusing on not dying means you're living in fear, which means you're not enjoying life.
Right.
And Deborah, what's that Deborah says there?
Deborah says,
stress kills.
Stress kills.
So if you're
that's the last 40, 50 years of research has shown exactly that, Deborah, that stress is the main factor that causes disease and suffering and killing. Stress. And what have we been through the last year? Nothing but intense stress and fear about a damn virus you can't even see. Brilliant plan. I just keep saying it's a brilliant plan because so many people are falling for it.
But just think, it's your own free will to focus on it. I've been in such peace over this last 2 years, and it's as if this wasn't even happening in my life because I chose not to focus on it. I chose to focus on all the creative projects I'm doing. I chose to focus on being around the people whose presence I enjoy, even if we were just meeting virtually. And then for those who didn't have fear, we did meet in person. And I chose not to allow the propaganda to infect my mind where I was afraid to breathe the air. I chose not to allow it. And so it's as if this pandemic didn't happen to me. And it didn't happen to me because I chose for it not to, because I don't have any fear of death. So if you can free yourself from that, then you free yourself from everything that keeps you from enjoying life. And this is a state of being to be in. If you're in this state of being, then nothing can shake it. Nothing that happens can shake that inner peace because you're simply not allowing it.
Unknown caller.
And that's why, I changed the name to well-being, not wellness. Everybody, people are still health and well-being, because what you just described is what we were meant to be. We were meant to rise above all this fear and anger and low frequency. And so we're going to be well-being as we choose, as you said, not to be distracted by this game that's being played on us, the big game being played. And so many people are not prepared for it. And so they think a savior is in an injection, and the savior is in a man on the cross, and all these external things. Where Zelda is displaying this beautiful jungle behind her, and that's where I want to be, is in that jungle. Thank you, Zelda. You reminded me every day, get out in the jungle, get out by the pool, get out and breathe fresh air. That's the solution right there. And so many people are missing it. So thank you for bringing that visual to us every week. It really is a wonderful reminder of the being we need to be in every day to overcome all this anxiety and stress. Beautiful. Did you add some more plants back there? I'm like, you adding plants?
They call me. What am I supposed to do?
Yeah.
They call me, like the one you all gave me, the fern.
Yeah.
For my sister's passing. I there's so many in here. It's like Tony's like, do you really have room for another plant? As long as they come, I will put them here.
But they are community, and they're enjoying the presence and each other, and they're communicating and sharing all their love energy and keeping you healthy.
That's just like a baby walking. It's just like Joshua or Jasmine walking up to me and say, hug me. And then you say, no, I can't hug you.
And you know, I don't have a lot of plants in here, but you know, my environment outside, it just forces me to get outside. I wish I had more plants, but then I got a jungle out there. So let's just go outside and jump in the water. Like, that's how I look at it.
I'll trade places with you anytime. You come here.
No, I just try and count my blessings. Yeah, I don't have a lot of plants in here yet, but I just walk outside and there's plenty.
And trees everywhere.
Right. Yeah.
Gladly. Oh my goodness. And that tree across the street at the house. Oh my God.
So it's like we gotta create our environment for health and well-being.
Yes.
We gotta create it, because the man ain't gonna do it. The medical system, but education system, all these systems don't want us to create these healthy environments. They don't even teach it. Why aren't they teaching that in the public schools about creating a healthy environment? I never heard it.
No, I even have plants by the TV to absorb some of that negative energy. Tony's like, why do you got plants behind the TV? It's like, it's okay, babe. Just keep looking at the TV, and I got the plant. You be okay.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Right. So we're growing. We're really growing in this last year. I think all of us, and then some of the people around me are growing, and some are not. But oh well.
Well, I am so very grateful for my sisters of the microphone, but I have to share this before we leave, because talk about creating an environment that will help keep you up to snuff. Where is this little girl at? Oh, there it is right there. You know, she is making headway all over the place with the work that she is doing, and her name is Simone Biles.
Oh yeah. Flipping around.
Video just go. I just had it. Oh, here it is. There it is, right there. I want you all to see this. Talk about creating an environment. If you want, sometimes you just got to shut everything and everybody out. So that's what we're going to do. I am going to share this so that you can see this. She has created an environment and making an environment for all the little girls that come after her. So you have got to see this. So Simone Biles, kudos to you. There she is. Okay, so I'm going to open that up so you can see it and take off the volume. Add the volume. And there she goes. Oh, I hope it plays.
There we go.
Big dismount, double twisting double.
Series coming up, 3 elements in a row. Perfect.
She does 2 biles in this routine. The first pass, the second pass, triple twisting, double back.
Wow, perfect.
Is she a bad little mama jamma or what?
Define gravity.
You know, between her and Naomi Osaka, they are really demonstrating the excellent skills of melanin people at their best. They're at the top right now, right? And that's where we shine a lot. And we don't have to be saying that we're less than because we're not making, and they're probably making millions of dollars because of the endorsement. So it just gives us, especially melanin youth, if you take care of your body, you can make a lot of money just from doing things like Simone and Naomi. But if you want to go to college for 4 years and be programmed and brainwashed, go ahead. But I'm saying take care of your body. Do try and promote and develop those physical skills first, like the basketball players and all that. But look at these women. Oh my goodness, I can't. They're like from another planet almost. She did some triple thing up in the air.
Yeah.
I was like, what? And you know what, Zelda and Naima, she was driven by a childhood that said, "I'm less than." If you hear about her childhood, she was motivated that I'm going to show you. I'll show you. So when we talk about, like we just did, suffering, all that negative in your childhood, that's not bad at all, because it'll drive some people to be a Naomi or a Simone. Hallelujah.
Yes. And I feel that because I shared that experience on my blog, ZeldaSpeaks.wordpress.com. I share that in the BAUD, B-A-U-D experience with Jodi Suson. Somebody told me I would never be anything. And I had to go out of my way to prove them wrong, because we are always growing. And we just have to remember that. Deborah says, yes, I am growing. And we
hallelujah. Deborah. Yes. Go Deborah. Go Deborah. Go.
And this has been the after show with Deborah. Yay. She's not in the picture, but she's right here with us. So thank you so much, Deborah, and all our sisters who are listening, and all our viewers in the comments. We thank you. We appreciate you. The after show has been wonderful, as it always is. And I thank my sisters of the microphone for joining in with us this morning. We will be back tomorrow morning with self-care with Jodi Suson, and we're going to continue this conversation, because this is a conversation that needs to be extended. And for who's on for Wednesday, Naima?
Well, myself and Kareem, we will be interviewing another author and talking about relationships and how we can learn how to reconcile and forgive after a conflict. Many relationships don't need to end. We just need to learn more forgiveness and acceptance so that we can continue to provide for our families and not break them apart. So we'll talk about that on Wednesday.
You know, I had a conflict recently, and I realized how we resolved it. We had to tell our egos to get out of here.
Oh, that's a good one.
That was the biggest, to me in my mind, that's how we resolved it, because we had to put our egos aside, and that's how we came to a peace and agreement. I was like, okay, that wasn't too easy. It was challenging at first, but the ego got in the way. That's
always will. But sometimes when
I'll
you just
look forward to that. I'll be looking forward to that.
Yeah. Sometimes we have to stop ourselves at mid-thought, not the voice, but just to shut up and listen, because we got 2 ears and 1 mouth.
Yeah.
Sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't. But practice makes improvement. How about that?
Practice makes improvement.
Thursday is the round table with our sisters of the microphone, and Friday is health and wellness with Viata.
Well-being.
Health and well-being. Have to say it. Health and well-being with Viata.
Hallelujah.
And Saturday, we're back with our sisters of the microphone. What?
Saturday is Deborah.
Travel with Deborah.
Deborah. Yeah.
It's time to go somewhere and do something. Somebody, somewhere. I don't know where, but maybe the Health Spring Spa in Arkansas. Go down there and get some mineral water. Yeah. So thank you everyone for joining us this morning. Be sure and join us June 26th. June 26th for the Global Teen Talent Virtual Contest, 12 noon until 1 p.m. right here on our YouTube channel, Higher Learning TV Show, and Facebook.com, HLN TV Show. Stay on purpose, stay empowered, and stay tuned tomorrow morning, 7 till 9 a.m. Central Standard Time, and we'll see you right here. We'll do it all over again. Continuing on Your Rights, My Body, My Rights, My Choice, Part 2. Thanks for watching. Hello.
Namaste. Shalom. Shalom.
Make it a
Hugs,
great
hugs.